Ole'Pops here. Me and old Hagen hanging out here today, sewing on a couple pairs of moccasins, doing a little leather work, trying to get ready for Christmas. And I burned the fire out of my finger. I know you thinking, well now, how did you burn your finger sewing on leather? Sewing it with nylon thread, and I was burning the end of the thread so that the thread wouldn't ravel when I got through. And I touched the end of the thread after I burned it, and it just toasted, just stuck to my skin and toasted it. It's just throbbing. But the reason I'm here tonight, I want to make a video, a VR, for TPI's 100 Sub Gaw giveaway. What he wants is a story. Said he likes to hear people talk. Well, Lord, with my own mush-mouth southern accent, I can't figure out why anybody want to hear me talk. And I thought and thought and thought about what I'd talk about. And I thought about all the good people of the YTPC. All the nice folks. The good friends that I've made. How blessed I was. So I got to thinking about some of the people I'd met throughout my life and some of the other friends that I had, and I thought I'd tell a story about one of my other friends. I went to school with a young man. He ain't no young man. He ain't as old. I mean, he's as old as I am now. Went to school with a guy. We called him Junebug. Everybody called him Junebug. He got the name from his uncle. Uncle said he was the clumsiest kid he ever saw in his life. You ever seen the way a Junebug bump up beside the house, fly into stuff? Just said every time he saw the old boy, he was bumping into stuff. Just clumsy as he could be. That's where he got the nickname Junebug. But it stuck. His name's William Howse. Any of y'all musicians out there, y'all might know him. He's one of the best and probably one of the most well-known session blues harmonica players in the business. He's played with Jimmy Hall, played with Jack Pearson, played with the Allman Brothers Band, played with a lot of good people. Had a band called the Nationals Blues Band for a long time with Jack Pearson. Played with Tommy Emmanuel. But the guy is just an incredible musician. Incredible guitar player as well. But he was one of my dearest friends growing up. Anyway, he and I used to like to, after high school, we'd rode bikes together and did a lot of fishing, a lot of drinking. I remember one particular time, we were one night going frog gigging late one night, and we were trespassing across this field. His uncle told him that they had sold this property. Property used to belong to him, and they'd sold the property. And his uncle told him, he said, "Now, Junie," he said, we can't fish back there anymore. He said, "We can't." And he said, "We're going to do it anyway." He said, "No, we can't do it anymore." He said, "The people forbid it." He said, "They told us that we weren't allowed back there anymore." Now, on this property we were going to go fishing on, we were actually frog gigging in this pond. It's a pretty big sized pond. I guess for all extents and purposes, legally it was a lake because it had a natural spring fed run on and a natural runoff that fed into a creek. Which is really neither here nor there. But anyway, this guy had several Charolais bulls, but he had one in particular that he was very, very proud of. And he had them back there in this back pasture where this lake was. And he didn't want anybody back there with him. And there was a good reason for it, because they were not friendly. But we were going to risk it. And he had signs posted, "No trespassing." He had them everywhere. But we had our gigs. We had a couple of posts with 5-prong gigs on them. We had our baskets. We had flashlights. And I drove an old '69 short bed step-side Ford F-100 pickup truck. And I parked it out on the road, and we crossed a field that was about 100 yards long. Crossed a fence. Crossed another field, crossed a fence, crossed another field. We snuck in the back way. And we snuck up to this pond. And we were standing there. On one side of this pond, there was a drop-off. One of the best noodling ridges I ever saw in my life. For anybody out there that don't know what noodling is, it's where you can reach underneath the ledge and grab a catfish by the mouth and jerk it out with your hands. Of course, they'll bite down on your hands, but it's not that big a deal. But you can jerk them out by hand. Now, we weren't wasting our time with that, but we were sneaking in the water. We got down in the water and we were sneaking around. And if you can shine your light on a frog, late at night, the frogs will crawl up on the bank. And they'll sit there, and if you can hit them dead in the eyes, they'll freeze. You hit them with a gig, they're yours. And there ain't nothing more larping than frog legs. And we were going around the edge of this pond, and we had us, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 frogs apiece by this time. And we'd come up out of that water, and we had boots and jeans on. That was our first mistake. And next thing we know, we hear something over in the field. It was high grass. And it's rustling over in the field. The first thing that crosses my mind was that big old Charolais bull, one of these big Charolais bulls. There was 2 or 3 of them, but we knew that there was one that we had to worry about. Junebug looked over at me. I looked over at him. His eyes got big. He said, "You thinking what I'm thinking?" And I said, "Yeah." And I remember William asking me, he said, if that bull shows up, which way are you going to run? And I asked him what difference. I'm going to run towards the truck, you know. Why? He said, I figure if we split up, we can confuse him. Maybe we can outrun him. And I told him, I said, I said, you don't have to worry about outrunning that bull. I'm not worrying about outrunning the bull. All I have to do is outrun you. His eyes got big and he said, well, thanks a lot. But William Howse, you can YouTube the guy, William Howse, Howse, and you can see some of his work on YouTube. I tell you what, WC Handy Festival. He's a lot of times he's the guest of honor at the WC Handy Festival. Y'all YouTube him. He's quite a performer. Quite a performer. Good fella. Good heart. I remember the mini-me, my little mini-me, Gracie. We used to, I say ride bikes. We rode motorcycles, but we used to ride bicycles, 10-speed mountain bikes on the Greenway when we were younger. He'd come over to my house every afternoon. We'd ride 13 miles on the Greenway every afternoon when it wasn't raining. And I had a little carrier on the back when Gracie was just a baby, and we'd put her in that little thing, and we'd ride that 13-mile Greenway trail every afternoon. It never fails. He would come over every afternoon. We'd ride that trail. But anyway, William Howse, y'all check him out. He's a great guy. Anyway, I'm Ole'Pops. Congratulations on your subs. Congratulations on your gal, TPI. Love you, buddy. I'm Ole'Pops.